I still remember the first time someone called me trash kid. It wasn't even creative. Just two stupid words yelled across the cafeteria while I was carrying my tray of lukewarm pizza and chocolate milk. But for some reason, it stuck. By the end of freshman year, half the school knew me as Trash Kid, and I didn't even know how it started. That's the thing about high school nicknames. You don't get to choose them. They just happen, and once they catch on, they spread faster than lice in a locker room. The worst part? Teachers heard it too. Some pretended not to. Some laughed quietly. No one stopped it. Let me back up. I wasn't the most popular kid. I wasn't the worst either, just average. I got decent grades, hung out with two friends. Shout out to Marcus and Jenna, the only people who kept me sane, and tried not to draw attention to myself. My mom worked long shifts at Target, so I wore hand-me-downs more often than not. My sneakers weren't Nike. They were Air Zooms or whatever knockoff brand Walmart had on sale. And in high school, people notice stuff like that. They notice if your hoodie has a weird logo, if your phone case is cracked, if you pack lunch instead of buying. They notice, and then they pounce. The first real incident happened in gym class. Coach Williams had us running laps around the gym, and I was already dying after lap 2. Marcus was pacing me, trying to distract me by joking about how Coach probably hadn't run a lap himself since the Clinton administration. We were laughing until Tyler, not my friend Tyler, but the Tyler everyone feared, cut me off mid-lap. Tyler was one of those kids who looked like he'd been held back a grade, maybe 2. Already had a mustache, biceps bigger than some teachers, and that smirk, the kind that said he'd get away with whatever he wanted. As I tried to pass him, he casually stuck out his foot. I went flying, flat on the hardwood. My knee slammed so hard I thought I broke it. The entire class erupted into laughter. "Trash kid down!" Tyler yelled, throwing his hands up like he'd just scored a touchdown. Even Coach Williams chuckled before blowing the whistle. "Get up, kid." "You're fine, fine?" My knee was bleeding through my sweatpants. My face burned hotter than the gym lights, but I limped up, pretending it didn't hurt, because in high school showing pain is like painting a target on your back. It didn't stop there. Next week I opened my locker and found, well, trash, literally. Someone dumped a half-eaten sandwich, an empty Gatorade bottle, and crumpled papers inside. The smell hit me first, then the laughter from down the hall. Tyler and his crew were watching, waiting. "Looks like home sweet home, trash kid," one of them shouted. I wanted to scream. Instead, I cleaned it up quietly, pretended it didn't bother me. Marcus offered to help, but I waved him off, because if anyone else got involved, they'd just get dragged into it too. Jenna, though, she wasn't afraid of anyone. She confronted Tyler once in the cafeteria, slammed her milk carton on the table, and said, "Do you seriously have nothing better to do?" He just smirked. "Better to do? Nah, watching Trash Kid squirm is better than Netflix." And the table roared. Jenna shot me a look, half, "I'm sorry," and half, "Don't you dare cry." That year blurred into a pattern, whispered insults in the hallway, gum stuck to my chair, my backpack hidden behind the bleachers. Notes slipped into my locker that said stuff like, "Take a shower," or "You'll never get a girlfriend." Some days it was almost funny, the creativity they had, like the time they photoshopped my face onto a raccoon and printed 50 copies around school. Other days, it just broke me. I'd sit in the bathroom during lunch, scrolling through Reddit on my cracked phone, pretending I was invisible, pretending I wasn't the joke of the entire sophomore class. And the wild thing? Teachers saw it. They knew. But high school teachers are pros at saying boys will be boys or ignore it and it'll stop. It never stopped. The lowest point came at the winter dance. I didn't even want to go, but Marcus convinced me. Come on, man. It's not about the dance. It's about the snacks. Unlimited pizza rolls. Free Sprite. Think of the possibilities. So I went. I wore my one decent button-up shirt, the one Mom ironed 3 times, because she wanted me to look sharp. I even borrowed Marcus's tie. For an hour, it wasn't terrible. We hung out, ate too many cookies, and laughed at the awkward, slow dancers. Then Tyler spotted me. He grabbed the DJ's mic mid-song and yelled, "Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our school mascot, Trash Kid." The spotlight actually turned toward me. Everyone stared. Some laughed. Some just looked away, uncomfortable. I froze, clutching my paper cup of Sprite like it was a lifeline. Tyler wasn't done. He pulled out a trash can, an actual trash can that he and his friends had dragged in from the hallway. They placed it right in the middle of the dance floor and chanted, "Get in! Get in! Get in!" I swear for a second I thought they'd physically shove me in there. Marcus tried to step up, but I stopped him. Because I knew if he fought Tyler, he'd lose. We both would. So I did the only thing I could think of. I walked out, straight through the exit doors, into the cold December night, my tie flapping, my sneakers crunching on snow, and I didn't go back in. That night, sitting on the curb outside the gym while music thumped inside, I made a quiet decision. I wasn't going to let them break me. They could laugh, call me names, fill my locker with trash, but I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of seeing me destroyed. At least that's what I told myself. But the truth? It still hurt. It still does. And that was only sophomore year. The worst was yet to come. By the time junior year rolled around, I thought maybe things would calm down. New classes, new teachers, maybe even new social dynamics. Fresh start, right? Wrong. If anything, it got worse. Because now the nickname Trash Kid wasn't just an inside joke. It was tradition. Seniors passed it down to freshmen like a rite of passage. People who didn't even know my actual name still whispered it in the hallways. And the teachers, they either ignored it or, even worse, laughed nervously when they heard it. One time in English, Mrs. Green was calling attendance. She paused at my name, looked up and smirked. "Wait, you're the one they call—" She trailed off, but the whole class finished for her. Trash Kid! The room erupted. My face went hot. And instead of shutting it down, Mrs. Green just shrugged like, "What can you do?" That moment stuck with me. Adults are supposed to protect you. Instead, it felt like they were in on the joke. It wasn't just words anymore either. During homecoming week, my backpack went missing. I searched everywhere, classrooms lost and found, even behind the bleachers where Tyler and his crew usually hung out. No luck. Until 2 days later, I found it hanging from the flagpole in front of the school, stuffed with actual garbage, banana peels, soda cans, even a dirty gym sock. The entire student body saw it on their way in. Some kids took pictures. Some laughed. Me? I just stood there staring, too numb to react. Marcus tried to help me get it down, but by then Principal Harris was outside. He looked at me, then at the flagpole, sighed and muttered, "Boys will be boys. Get to class. That's it. No investigation, no punishment. Just get to class." I wanted to scream, but I swallowed it like always. Still, it wasn't all hopeless. Jenna, bless her, refused to let me drown. She started inviting me to sit with her theater friends at lunch. They were loud, weird, and unapologetic. They dressed in thrift store clothes and quoted Shakespeare like it was TikTok. For the first time, I didn't feel like the punchline. One day, she even handed me a script. "Come audition. You're funny when you're not dying inside," she said, smirking. I laughed, but I actually went. Not because I thought I'd get a part, but because, why not? And somehow, I don't even know how, I landed a small role in the spring play. Just a few lines, nothing major. But standing on that stage, even in rehearsals, felt like breathing fresh air after being stuck underwater. For once, people clapped for me instead of laughing at me. But of course, Tyler couldn't leave me alone. Opening night, right before curtain, I found my costume stuffed in a toilet in the boys' bathroom. Soaked. Ruined. I stood there dripping, my hands shaking. Jenna stormed in. She never cared about rules, saw the mess and said, "We're not letting them win. Here, take my jacket." She gave me her oversized leather jacket, way too big. But it worked. I walked on stage like that, and the audience thought it was part of the character. They laughed, in a good way this time. For the first time in years, their laughter didn't sting. After the show, people actually came up to me and said, "Hey, you were good." It wasn't much, but it was something. Still, high school isn't a movie. The bullying didn't magically stop. One of the lowest points was prom season. Everyone was posting promposals online. Balloons, posters, cheesy rhymes. I knew no one was asking me, and I wasn't planning on going anyway. But then 2 girls from my math class approached me with big smiles. "Hey, we have a surprise for you." For a split second, I thought, maybe someone actually liked me. They led me into the cafeteria where a giant poster hung, "Trash kid, will you go to prom with the dumpster?" The whole room roared with laughter. I felt my stomach drop. My hands went cold. And then I saw it. The dumpster outside, decorated with streamers and balloons. They actually made it part of the joke. I wanted to disappear, melt into the floor. Instead, I walked out. Again, like at the winter dance. Only this time, I didn't cry. I didn't even flinch. I just walked away. Because by then I realized something. Their cruelty said more about them than about me. That summer, I worked double shifts at a grocery store to save up for college. Tyler and his friends, they hung out in parking lots, blasting music, doing nothing. And for the first time, I felt a shift. They were stuck. I was moving forward. Junior year ended, and senior year loomed. I thought maybe it would finally ease up. But high school has a way of squeezing every drop of humiliation out of you before it lets you go. And senior year was about to deliver the biggest, most unforgettable humiliation of all, but also the moment that proved I wasn't the same scared kid anymore. Senior year was supposed to feel like freedom. You know that countdown everyone does. Only 100 more days. Only 50. Only 10. People scribble it on whiteboards, post it on Snapchat with fireworks filters. For me, it felt more like a prison sentence. Sure, college acceptance letters were rolling in. I'd gotten into a state school, not my dream, but a ticket out. Every day I circled dates on the calendar, just praying to make it through without one last humiliation. Of course, that was wishful thinking. The first week of senior year, I walked into homeroom and found my desk decorated. Balloons, streamers, a giant sign taped to the backrest. "Congrats to our favorite trash kid, class of 2020. Everyone clapped sarcastically. Someone even handed me a Burger King crown, scribbled with the words, "King of Garbage." I didn't cry. I didn't even blush. I just sat down, put the crown on my head, and said, "Thanks. At least I finally outrank you guys." The room went quiet. For once, I had flipped the script. It didn't stop them completely, but it chipped away at their fun, because bullies feed on reactions. When you starve them, they get frustrated. But then came senior prank week. Every year, the graduating class did something epic. In the past, it was things like filling the principal's office with balloons or switching all the classroom clocks. Stupid, but harmless. This year, they decided I was the prank. I walked into school one Monday morning and froze. Every locker in the hallway was decorated with glitter and streamers, except mine. Mine was wrapped in duct tape and covered in trash bags. Someone had even stuck banana peels and half-empty soda cans all over it. On the front, a huge sign read, "Property of the dumpster." The whole hallway howled with laughter as I just stood there. And then Principal Harris appeared, shaking his head. I thought, finally, someone's going to shut this down. Instead, he sighed and said, "Well, at least they're creative this year." Get to class, I couldn't believe it. 4 years of this, and the man never once took it seriously. But here's the thing about senior year. As much as it hurt, I knew it was almost over. I had a countdown on my phone. Every time I survived another day, I ticked it off like a soldier marking days on a wall. And then came graduation. Graduation day in America is supposed to be this shiny, perfect memory. Caps, gowns, proud parents in the bleachers, pomp and circumstance echoing in the gym. For me, it was the final test. We all lined up in our gowns, sweating in the June heat. Parents fanned themselves with programs. Little kids ran around with noisemakers. I was halfway down the row, rehearsing in my head. Walk across the stage, shake the principal's hand, smile for the camera. Simple, but of course Tyler had other plans. Just before my row was called, I noticed him whispering to a group of guys. They were grinning like they'd just won the lottery. My stomach dropped. When my name was called, when it was finally my turn to walk, I stepped onto the stage, and confetti rained down. Not normal confetti, trash. Shredded fast food wrappers, empty chip bags, even crumpled receipts. They'd stuffed it into balloons or something and popped them right as I walked. The crowd gasped, then erupted with laughter. Cameras flashed. Parents craned their necks, whispering, "What's going on?" I froze in the spotlight, every muscle in my body screaming to run, to hide. But then something inside me snapped. I bent down, picked up an empty soda can from the stage, and held it high like a trophy. The laughter dimmed. People weren't sure if I was in on the joke or not. And then, loud enough for the microphone to catch, I said, "Wow, 4 years, and this is still the best they can come up with? Guess I'll take out the trash one last time." The crowd roared, not with laughter, real cheering. Parents clapped. Even some students stood up. Tyler's smirk vanished. I walked across that stage, shook Principal Harris's hand, and held my diploma like a victory flag. Because in that moment, it wasn't humiliation anymore. It was proof. Proof that I had survived everything they threw at me, and I was still standing. After the ceremony, Jenna found me in the parking lot. She hugged me so tight I thought my ribs would crack. "You killed it," she said. "You didn't let them win." And for the first time in years, I actually believed her. Summer came, and we all scattered. Tyler and his crew, some ended up at community college. Some didn't go anywhere. A few were still hanging out at the same gas station parking lot, blasting the same old music. Me? I packed up my dorm room essentials, Target runs, new bedding, cheap coffee maker, and left. College wasn't perfect, but it was different. No one knew trash kid. No one cared. I could just be me. Looking back now, years later, I don't remember every insult or every prank, but I do remember the feeling of walking across that stage, garbage raining down, and realizing it didn't matter anymore, because they tried to bury me in trash. But all they did was prove I could rise above it.